seen my daily lunch spread, you would have figured out that I'm a serious foodie. For me, food is more like a hobby than just a basic need. Am I totally right? Yeah? So what do you know about what I cook most? What's the one thing if you came to my house you'd ask for? My cookies. Yeah. So at some point I will make my cookies for you. But just letting you know that, that's something I take pretty seriously. And I don't joke around about it. So when I eat at a restaurant, I am in research mode. The thought bubble above my head sounds something like this. That's an interesting presentation for salad. It looks like the vegetables have been shaved with some kind of micro peeler to create these translucent ribbons. And would you look at that sprinkle of purple and red carrots? The colors contrast so nicely with the greens in the salad. I am going to remember this technique. I won't simply copy the dish. I will make it my own. Now, I'm not telling you this because of I want you to know about me and food and so forth. I'm telling you this because this is what writers do as well. Today I want to teach you that writers read other authors' texts, not only to experience the character story, but also to admire, study, and emulate the quality of the writing. So, last week, I read a little bit of different kinds of writing for you, and we talked about the different ways in which writers write. So, let's grab a writing that we're going to think about here. Let me see if I can. So we're going to go over some writing. This is Everything Will Be Okay by James Howe. Everything Will Be Okay by James Howe. And just follow along as I read just a little bit of this. The kitten is a scrawny thing, with burrs and bits of wood caught in its coat, where it still has fur, and pus coming out its eyes and nose. Its big baby head looks even bigger at the end of such a stick of a body. I found it in the woods at the end of my street, where I play most days with my friends. This time, I was alone. Lucky for you I was, I think. Otherwise, David or Claude might have decided you'd be good practice for their slingshots. Those two can be mean, I think to myself. I don't like playing with them, really, but they live at the end of the street, and sometimes you just play with the kids on your same street, even if they're mean. Sometimes, even to you. The kitten makes a pitiful noise. Don't worry, I tell it, stroking its scabby head until the meowing is replaced by a faint purr. Everything will be okay. I'm going to take you home, and my mom will give you a bath and some medicine. I tuck the kitten under my jacket and run out of the woods, across the street, down the sidewalk, toward the house. I feel the warmth of the kitten through my shirt and start thinking of names. What do you notice there? What do you notice there, Victor?
He pulled on the mom with the kitten. Just from a few minutes of meeting him because of how cute and how different he was compared to some other kittens.
Okay. So we're thinking that he's giving. Is he describing the cat? Yes. Lots of description. Lots of describing.
I can image what he is doing. Like he tells lots of detail, and I can see the cat. I can see him running around the forest, the road.
Yep.
All the
Yep. You can visualize. Because we've talked about that. One of the things that we need to remember to do is we need to remember to visualize when we're thinking about writing. Okay, I'm going to go on. I'm only 10. So it will be 5 or 6 years before I work for Dr. Milk. My 2 oldest brothers worked for him part-time and summers when they were teenagers. Now my other brother, Paul, works there. Dr. Milk is the vet out on Ridge Road. He takes care of our dogs, and he will take care of my kitten. I never had a pet that was my very own. A couple of years ago, my father got a new beagle to replace the old one that had died. Patches was his name. He called the new one Bucky and said that Bucky could be mine. But saying a thing is so doesn't mean it is. Bucky lives in a kennel out back, keeping his beagle Smell, which my mother hates, far away from the house. I feed Bucky some days and play with him, but I am not allowed to bring him inside to sleep at the end of my bed or curl up next to me while I do my homework. Bucky is an outdoor dog. He is a hunting dog. He is my father's dog. Really. Okay. Turn the page. When I am older, I will go hunting with my father, the way my brothers have done. I try not to think about this. I want to go because I want my father to like me. But I don't want to kill animals. One time, when my father and 3 brothers went hunting, one of my brothers killed a deer. Most times, they kill rabbits or pheasants, if they get lucky. Most times, they don't get lucky. But this time, one of my brothers, I don't remember which one, killed a deer. The deer was hung by its feet from a tree just outside the kitchen. I could see it hanging there when I sat at my place at the table. My father urged me to eat my venison and talked about the slippers he was going to have made from the hide. I couldn't eat. The thought of the venison made me want to throw up. I could see the deer's eyes, even from the kitchen table. There was life in them still. Only the deer and I knew that there was life. The bullet had missed. It was in the eyes. I pushed the venison away. My father said, "That's a waste of good meat." My brothers teased me. One of them called me a sissy. My mother said, "You don't have to eat it," and took the slab of gravy off my plate. I'm sorry, the slab of gray meat off my plate. My mother reaches into my jacket and removes the kitten by the scruff of its neck. She tells me to go down to the cellar and take off my clothes and put them in a pile next to the washing machine. Have I gone from one scene to the next? Yes. The animal is filled with disease, she says. We can't let it touch anything in the house. We'll take it to the doctor, to Dr. Milk, I say. He'll make it better. We'll see, she says, pushing me toward the cellar stairs, the kitten dangling from one of her hands. I can feel tears welling up. But that kitten is mine, I say. I found it, and it's going to be my pet. She doesn't say anything. Looking up from the cellar stairs, I see her shaking her head at the kitten. Its eyes are clamped shut. I can see the pus oozing out of them. You are a sorry sight, she tells the kitten in the same soothing voice she uses with me when I'm sick. A sorry, sad sight. I feel in the pit of my stomach what the future of that kitten is. The feeling spreads through me like a sudden fever. Down in the cellar, taking off my clothes, I cry so hard, my body shakes. When I return upstairs, my mother wraps me in my bathrobe and holds me until I can speak. Where's the kitten? I ask. Out on the back porch, in a box. Your brother will be home soon. Do we get a feeling? Paul will be going to college in the fall. Right now, he's a senior in high school. I can't decide if I'm going to miss him or not. He's the brother I know best because he's been around the longest. The others left home when I was even younger. Paul is the brother who taught me to ride my bicycle, and the one who spent an entire Saturday with me and not his friends building a real igloo out of snow and ice. He's the brother who tells me how to be a man. He's also the brother who plays tricks on me. And sometimes the tricks are cruel. When I get angry, he says I don't have a sense of humor. He twists my arm behind my back sometimes until I say I'll do what he wants me to do. He makes promises he doesn't keep. Paul is 17. He shaves every day and kisses girls right in front of me like it was nothing. He works at Dr. Milk's part-time and summers. I'm sitting on the back porch waiting for Paul to come home and talking to the box next to me. Don't worry, Smokey, I tell the kitten inside. I won't let anything bad happen to you. I don't care how sick you are. My big brother will take you to Dr. Milk's and give you shots and medicine and stuff, and you'll get better. You'll see. My big brother can't fix anything. The kitten is awfully quiet. I wish it would make even a pitiful noise. We sit in silence. I daydream that I am 17. I am big and strong like my brother, and I can make Smokey better. I see myself driving to Dr. Milk's out of Ridge Road, carrying the kitten in its box into the back room, which I have never seen really, only heard my brothers tell stories about, giving it some medicine, reassuring it, everything will be okay, Smokey, everything will be okay. In the kitchen, behind me, I hear my brother and mother talking in low voices. Dr. Milk is not there when my brother pulls the car into the parking lot. It is after hours. My brother has a key. I am impressed by this. Come on, Paul says in his take charge voice. Get that box now. Bring it on in here. He flicks on the light in the waiting room. You're coming in. Back with me, he commands. I'll need your help. What are you going to do? I ask. I'm holding the box tight against my chest. I feel smoky moving around inside. What do you think? He says. You heard your mother. That kitten is sick. Bad sick. She's your mother too. Well, she happens to be right, Paul tells me. With an animal that far gone, you don't have a choice. It's got to be put to sleep. I think the tears I jam back into my body are going to kill me. I think if I don't let them out, they will kill me. But I won't let them out. I won't let Paul see. You do have a choice, is all I say. Cut the box for dear life and move to the door. Paul moves faster. Come on now, he says, gently taking hold of my arm. Be a man. I am not a man, I tell him. I don't want to be. You've got to do what's right. That kitten is half dead, as it is. Then it's half alive, too. He shakes his head. You always have to one-up me, don't you? He says. I don't know what he means, but I do know that no matter what I say, he is going to do what he wants to do. A few minutes later, we are back. We are in the back room. The box is empty. Smokey is inside a big old pretzel can with a hose attached, clawing at the can's sides as my brother pumps in the gas. He tells me it is good for me to watch this. It will toughen me up, help me be more of a man. Then he starts to lecture me about different methods of putting animals out of their misery. But all I can hear is scratching and then at the supper table that night, I don't speak. I don't look at my brother's face or my father's or my mother's. I look at the tree branch outside the kitchen's window where the deer once hung. My brother or at the kitchen window. My brother is saying something about taking me to the driving range tomorrow. He will teach me to hit a golf ball. I won't go with him. I don't want him to teach me anything anymore. In the fall, he will go off to college. I will be 11. I will be alone with my parents, alone without my brothers. I get up from the table and no one stops me. In the living room, which is dark, I sit for a long time thinking. I think about my kitten. I think about the pretzel can. I think about what it will be like not having any brothers around. I feel alone and small and frightened. And then, all of a sudden, I don't feel any of those things. All of a sudden, it's as if Paul had already left, and I am on my own. And I know some things so clearly that I will never have to ask an older brother to help me figure out them out. I will never work for Dr. Milk. I will not go hunting with my father. I will decide for myself what kind of boy I am, what kind of man I will become. Boys and girls, it is just that. So, when a story takes place, and the story takes your breath away, that is your cue to pause and to study what the writer did that was so powerful. It helps to ask, what makes this writing so powerful and amazing right here? How did the author make this? The goal is to bring all that you have learned in your mentor text into writing. So, what kinds of things did the author do here that made this so powerful? Used detail. The author did not summarize and just say that they went to Dr. Milk's and put the cat to sleep. Scratching on the sides of the milk can, or pretzel can, sorry, right. On the side of the pretzel can, and then he didn't hear the scratching anymore. It was hard for me to continue reading. That was pretty powerful. What else did the author do in this story that really brought it to life? Writer, what else? Did he give some background knowledge? What was the background that he gave us that kind of set the story up? What about the hunting? Oh, yeah. Did our main character want any part of any of that? No. Talk to me about our main character's character traits. What do we know about our main character as a character? Yes, absolutely. Yes. Now, do you think his brother's trying to be mean? No. But are he and his brother two completely different characters? Yes. His brother's trying to teach him to be brave. His brother is actually trying to teach him right from wrong. Because he's thinking, this kitten really can't be saved. And he's trying to be merciful to him. But he doesn't see it that way. He sees him being cruel and unmerciful. So it looks like Howie really thinks about the kind of person that the character is, and then based on what he wants to reveal about the character, he makes the character talk in a particular way. How does he make the character talk? Is he joyful?
Quotation marks.
Yes, he uses lots of dialogue. Victor? does make him gloomy. Ryder, what else? Yes, absolutely. He says, just think how it would change your impression of Paul if instead he said to his brother, I know this is hard, really hard for you, but sometimes when an animal is too sick to get better, the kindest thing we can do is put an end to its suffering. There's no rush. Take a minute to think about this. Do you see how this is different? What if he would have said to his brother, sometimes the best thing that we can do is to end their suffering. Take some time. Sit with your kitten. Think about it. Think about how hard it is, but what's best for the kitten. What if his brother would have done that? Would we have felt differently about his brother? Absolutely. Boys and girls, when you are writing, when you are giving a story, include what you hear. Include what you see. Include what you feel in your writing. Think about when characters talk, writers make them say the words and use the tone that shows their personalities and hints at the bigger meaning of the moment. Did you get a feeling of Paul's personality? Paul didn't tell his brother it was okay and that they needed to do what was best. He just said, be a man. Yeah. This will be good for you. Watch. Look at it. His brother ran for the door. He wanted to leave. He wouldn't let him. He went and blocked the door and said, you need to watch this. Writers explain why the characters act the way they do. Why do you think Paul acted the way he did? Victor, why did Paul act the way he did? Do you think that Paul had any feeling for that kitten? No. Paul had no connection to that kitten. He didn't care about the kitten. He wasn't going to continue to be at the house. He was going away to college. Do you think that Paul is used to this? Why do you think Paul's used to it? Yes. Do you think he sees it every day at the vet? Yes. It's something that he's used to seeing. He sees it all the time at the vet's office. Do you think he's been conditioned? Do you think the vet has told him this same thing before? Mm-hmm. Yes. Writers zoom in on the small but powerful details that really capture big moments and feelings. What were the small details that they gave us that were really powerful? Oh, yes. So some of the most powerful details were when he picked up that cat and petted most powerful part, when you put the tube of gas in the pretzel can, and then you heard the scratching of the cat, and then it stopped. Yes.
My cat.
No, not this part. Okay. Listen, guys. We have to think about how can you put this into your writing? What kinds of things can you do to make sure when you write that you give detail, that you don't leave things out, that you give meaning, and make sure that the reader understands what you're writing about? Today we learned that when writers read the work of other authors, they first read to experience the story. They then reread the text, asking themselves, what did the author do that I could try in my writing? Writers are always trying to figure out ways they can add to and improve their own repertoire of strategies and techniques. I'm always trying to figure out ways that I can add to my own writing, and realizing that everything that we've learned by studying our mentor text is a technique for writing powerful personal narratives. So today, I'll transfer our thinking from today's chart here to you, so that you can figure out how to write personal narratives. When you go off today, you'll want to read over what you just read. Everything will be okay. Read over that again. And try to find new lessons that you can take away from How's Writing, and that you could imagine adding to your own writing. Boys and girls, it's your turn. You may begin writing. Think about, read back over it. What kinds of things could you add to a writing? How could you write to add detail? What kinds of things could you add to your writing that could make you make other people see, hear, feel what you're trying to tell them? Okay? You may write. You can either continue your last personal narrative, or you can write a new one.